And welcome back to the Constitutionals Podcast. I'm your host, Chad White. If you didn't know, this is the premier podcast for the website, cpluscomedy.com. Like I just said, go there. Welcome back in as I play around with the levels. Episode 341 of this show. What's been going on? Nothing much. My phone is broken again. I've noticed for the past, I don't know, let's say 3 or 4 years, every year around this time of year, I've broken my phone. So a couple of weeks ago, I dropped it on the side of my Thuma bed frame. Not a sponsor, but god damn it, I would love it if they sponsored me. And it cracked. Yesterday, was it yesterday? No, 2 days ago, I have a MagSafe case on the back of my phone, a case that turns my Samsung phone into MagSafe compatible. And there's the what's the switch, the fuse box, I guess, for the apartment is in my kitchen, and I put a prep table in front of the fridge under that fuse box. And while I can't open my fridge fully anymore, the prep table has been godsend. Anyway, on the metal fuse box, I put the phone now, and I I'll play a podcast or music right now, or I'll have the recipe. More than likely, I'll have the recipe up there as I'm doing whatever. What was it, Tuesday? I was doing the recipe. So after I cracked my phone screen, which is fine, I was going to get it fixed. When I could afford it, I was cooking something, and I was trying to scroll through the recipe. And for the first time in the 8 months that I've had this case, I swiped and then it just fell. And it did not just fall on the prep table. It fell on the ground. I picked it up and I said, shit. And now it's been flickering green. I can't, there's a line going down the middle. You see a Maverick's face. I don't know if you can see it. But anyway, it's broken and it sucks, but whatever. It's not like I use my phone anyway for anything besides shooting videos of myself in the gym. Yeah, I'm one of those people. But I put it on Strava, and I'm very discreet with it, and I try not to get other people in it. So there you go. It's mostly just this, like, it is part in the reason to put on Strava, which I like to do. Also, I don't have a lot of followers on Strava, and I don't follow a lot of people. This because here's the second reason. I also want to. I have on my workout app that I use, which I will not give a plug to because it sucks. I have roughly 1,697 exercises, and it's hard to remember each one of those. It's hard to remember what an alien squat is, and it's hard to remember what let me scroll to what bunny hops on a ladder look like. So sometimes, I mean, I know what those two are because they're stupid names, but it's I just like to have things recorded, feats of strength and things that are different recorded mostly. So there you go. My Google Photos is truly just pictures of Maverick and Nova, pictures of food I cooked. Oh, also the meal I cooked was bangers and mash. I was trying to. I think I was shaving through the potatoes, and that's when I swiped and my phone fell. So it's pictures of food I cook, pictures of the pets, and videos of me working out. That's pretty much it. And errant screenshots of my workouts, like of my workout plans that I post along on Strava. So there you go. I had not seen any movies this week. I did watch new movies, or movies that were new to me, and I can't remember what they were. I did just beat Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. I was playing that. I have a New Year's goal. I have a lot of New Year's goals, but one of them was to beat 10 games because, we pay for Game Pass. I have a lot of PlayStation games I have yet to beat. I have a lot of Switch games. I have a lot of Xbox games, a lot of PC games. And I said, no more of this stuff just building up. So I had to put an attempt at some of this stuff. And I don't know if you can even see how bad the screen is right now, but it looks horrible. So I just beat Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. I previously beat Black Ops 6 and Modern Warfare 3 within the last couple of months, alongside Claire Expedition 33 and Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, Persona 5 Royal, Road 96, and Who Pressed Mute on Uncle Marcus. Now you'll notice Persona 5 Royal, I think I've talked about this before. It is one of my favorite games of all time. It took me 3 years to beat it, mostly because it's really hard and I didn't want to follow a walkthrough. And also, it just takes me a long time to play things. Again, I didn't want things to continue piling up. As for Black Ops 6 and Modern Warfare 3 and Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, those were ones that came out late last year. Or excuse me, Black Ops 6 along with Indiana Jones came out late last year. And it took me, again, it takes me a long time to beat games. It took me roughly like 3 or 4 months to beat both of those. I'm just trying to knock things out. I mostly did that because I know there's a new Pokemon game coming out this year. And as much as I love Pokemon, I've only beaten the main games of Sword and Shield and Scarlet and Violet. Those are the most recent ones. So I beat the main games of those. But I also own the DLCs, and I need to beat the DLCs, which are 20 hours themselves, probably each, for 2 different sets of DLCs for 2 different games. So that's 40 hours. So I have to do this before Pokemon ZA comes out. I also have to buy a Switch too before ZA comes out. Next week I hope to see a couple of movies. For my birthday I'll probably be seeing 28 years later. Mostly because that's when the AMC birthday stuff runs out, is on the 30th, so I have to do it on the 26th. I'll try to see Elio too on Tuesday. What else is going on? I'm watching women's LPGA golf. If you see the screen, the TV flickering against the wall back there, and that's it. I have nothing else going on in my life. Haim has a new album out today. It's fantastic. I love Haim so much. I love SD Haim. It's very true. I love her. And that's it. All right, let's move on. This comes from Variety, written by Jim Aswad. Senators, Spotify's bundling plan harms consumers. Call an FTC to investigate. Marsha Blackburn and Ben Ray Lujan bitterly criticized Spotify's audiobooks bundling plan, which lowers the royalties to songwriters and music publishers by hundreds of millions of dollars every year, in a letter released Friday asking the Federal Trade Commission to investigate the streaming giant. There's a new plan from Spotify that has audiobooks inside of it, but with that trade-off, because it sounds like it's pro-consumer, it's really hurting the artist who makes music, who originated on Spotify. Again, Spotify introduced, I believe, audiobooks a couple of years ago, and with that, you were able to go to Spotify and purchase a Harry Potter or a Hobbit or what have you audiobook and listen to it on that platform, and you owned it yourself. They didn't have a library way of doing it in the same way you can go to Hoopla or go to Audible and check out or buy, respectively, an audiobook. Now, they introduced this music audiobook bundling plan because Spotify wants to become a super app in a way that you are not stuck, but a user will say, I want to listen to a new Haim album. Oh, okay, I'm done listening to music. I want to listen to a podcast. I'm done listening to a podcast. I want to listen to an audiobook. They want you to stay on the Spotify app as much as possible. Super apps are popular in China, in Japan, where they're one-stop shops to go on the internet and to chat with your friends and to watch videos and to get your work done or whatever. But in America, we're not used to those because, frankly, we don't want them. But Elon Musk wants them. Anyway, Spotify's music bundling plan looks like it's a win for consumers, but it is not. Spotify announced the premium individual, duo, and family subscription plans in March 2024. But again, it reduces how much money the musicians and the songwriters get. And the letter, the senators say that the plan launched last year, which essentially lowers the royalty payments to songwriters and publishers by automatically shifting users to a plan that bundles music with the platform's much less popular audiobooks option, converts all of its premium music subscribers into different and ultimately higher priced bundled subscriptions without their knowledge or consent. The bundle also made the company eligible for a lower mechanical royalty rate in the United States. So what they're saying is not only does it harm the songwriter and the musician, but also harms the consumers because they'll be paying more for something that they don't necessarily need, nay, want. Bundle plans are apparently, comes from the senators, aimed at increasing Spotify's profits while lowering royalty payments to the creative community. The plan, Spotify automatically added 15 hours per month of an audiobook streaming to its standard premium music subscription plan, then raised the premium fee from, I believe it was $9.99 to $11.99 for individuals and $19.99 for families. In order to not pay that much, you have to opt out of the plan. But people aren't going to know that. They're just going to see that the thing changed and say, oh, Spotify must have changed their thing. Spotify dialed back its efforts on the bundle slightly last year, as the senator's letter notes. After pushback, Spotify quietly relaunched a music-only paid service now called the Basic Plan. This plan, though, is only available to certain existing subscribers and not new subscribers, which are forced into just subscribing to the audiobook one. Imagine going to, like, being a Netflix subscriber or wanting to subscribe to Netflix and knowing that there's an ad tier for, I think, $10, an ad-supported tier, rather. And then a middle tier for $12, and then another tier for $24, and then only getting access to the $24 tier if you don't want that. When you don't want that, excuse me. Additionally, Spotify has hidden the basic plan so that existing subscribers must jump through endless hoops to find the option. The problem is with that, there are proposed laws, and I think they might have been passed, where companies like Amazon can't, if you want to cancel with them, they used to be able to just hide the cancel button within a bunch of settings and make you go through several pages of internet before you're able to find the cancel button. Whereas now, I think the rule is you have to put it front and center, and it has to be like one click. As of 2025 of January, only a handful of Spotify's million of premium plan subscribers switched back to the music-only basic plan. The thing is, what if Spotify provided numbers saying that people actually use the audiobooks? Because otherwise, they are forcing people to opt into this thing that they do not want. Because if I was if I was a Spotify subscriber and I had 15 hours of audiobook, that would not get me through Lord of the Rings in the way that now that I own them, I was able to get through. And B, I'm not going to use, if I didn't have plans on using an audiobook thing on the audiobook subscription, then yeah, you are taking $2 extra from me. This is going to be something that hopefully consumers can keep afloat alongside their representatives, because if this is allowed to continue, then what's saying that other companies won't be doing the same thing over and over and over again? This is why you have to pay attention to the perks and the stuff inside the perks. This next one comes from the rap written by Lucas Manfredi. Social media surpasses TV, online articles, as Americans' top news source for the first time, a Reuters study says. The shift is being driven by younger groups, with 54% of those surveyed aged 18 to 24 saying it's their main news source. That is a giant problem, that people are shifting from the likes of broadcast news and cable news and the New York Times and Washington Post and the Atlantic, and they're going over to learn about the news, in quotes, from Reddit and, worse, TikTok. Reddit, you can at least link things, but someone putting out anti-vaccination propaganda on YouTube and Facebook and TikTok, because Facebook is not the only problem here, and TikTok is just plain wrong. I'm looking at a chart. Oh no, I can't read this chart. TV is down. This comes from a 2013 to 2025 examination. Proportion that used each as a news source for the last week. In the last week, TV was down 22 points from 72% in 2013 all the way down to 50%. What color is this? Social and video networks are up from 27% in 2013 to 54% in 2025. Online news sites and apps are down from 69% in 2013 to 48%. And print is down from 47% in 2013 is down 19% to 14%. AI chatbots started this year, so they're up 7%. It's emerging, that's what they call it. And radio is more than 13%. It is so strange. It is so strange and news podcasts are 15%. It is so strange to see people relying on basically word of mouth for news. On one hand, people are tired of the propaganda machine that can be cable news, not broadcast. Broadcast news is by and large trustworthy, especially if you watch, PBS NewsHour. It's the carrots and broccoli of news and kale of news. It might not be that burger that you want, but it's the thing that's going to keep you alive a little bit longer. I see it all the time. People my age who are just like, first of all, oh, you work in television? I don't watch TV. I only read mental health books. I wish I did not hear sentences like that, but that is no over exaggeration. I don't really watch TV. I only read books. Oh, okay. Well, what books have you read? I just finished reading, the Bono book, talking about U2. I don't read books like that. I only read books that just help me with my mental health. Have you read Get Better Through Brain? So fucking dumb. Again, the respondents to the Reuters study were between the ages of 18 and 24. The main news sources are exactly what you think. Hold on. When it comes to specific platforms being used, Facebook reached 26% of respondents in the last week, followed by YouTube with 21%, Instagram with 16%, WhatsApp with 15%, X with 11%, and I was like, what's X? And TikTok with 10%. Other notable sources included Facebook Messenger with 5%, LinkedIn and Telegram with 4% each, Snapchat and Reddit with 3% each, and Threads and Blue Sky with 1%. 1%. I'm Baba Wallace. Oh God. And all of those recent numbers I just said were the proportion that used each network as a source of news in the last week between 2014 and 2025. Despite the shift, notable finding from the poll is that 38% of respondents said they would look to news outlets that they trust. 35% would look to official sources, and 25% would look to fact checkers. I love Fact Checkers. Is my favorite fast food restaurant. I hope the Doughboys do it. Before social media, 14%. To verify whether something is false, misleading, or fake. That does make me wonder how many people are actually following through on that. How many people see something and then are just going through and truly finding out if that's right. Because I often see that in myself, and I'm the smartest boy around. I often see that myself. That sometimes I will see. I'm sorry, I'm typing something. The title, "The Smartest Boy Around." I'll see something on, Blue Sky or Reddit or something, and somebody will just like say a a fact from whatever the article is, and then I'll just go, oh, I guess that's right, and I guess it's true, and I won't ever follow through. And I read a lot, so if I'm doing that, what happened, to the typical person who sees RFK Jr. is right about vaccines? Like, what? I guess he's right. He used to hate vaccines and now he loves them. More than half the respondents worldwide, 58%, agreed that they are worried about what is real and fake online when it comes to news. A 4-point increase from 2022, with 73% of U.S. respondents concerned. Everybody should be concerned. We're getting new AI created video tools that not just movie and television studios should be concerned about. Every single person on this planet should be concerned about something like that. And like how easy some things are to be created and not even labeled. To that end, here's another one. I have to move this around. This comes from Variety, written by Salome Hailu. Streaming viewership surpassed cable and broadcast combined for the first time ever in May, Nielsen finds. Nielsen's been tracking, doing the measurement of how basically YouTube and TikTok are doing when it comes to media consumption. And according to Nielsen's measurement of televisions in the U.S., mobile devices and other countries excluded, broadcast and cable viewing combined are making up 42.2% of all TV watched, while streaming surpassed them with 44.8%. That sounds like it's not big, but it's big. The last couple of months have seen YouTube become the prevailing watched thing when it comes to media. I'm going to say media because I don't want to say television. And thanks to the advent of phones and iPads, I'm pointing the iPad down here, and the TV apps, you can watch YouTube anywhere. And really, again, they're not counting mobile, but people are tuning in and watching YouTube at home. I can, in a couple of hours, I'm going to sit down and watch the new episode of Taskmaster. And that's great because I can catch it here and watch it live, live to air. But, that does take away from the viewership that is the YouTube TV subscription that I have, or even the Netflix subscription that I have. While streaming has been the largest source of TV viewing for a long time now, or excuse me, I shouldn't say Netflix. I should say something else. CBS. While streaming has been the largest source of TV viewing for a long time now, this is the first time it has lapped the total of the other key categories. Let's look at those numbers. The news comes from Gauge, Nielsen's monthly TV consumption report, which has been running for 4 years. From its launch in May 2021 to this May, streaming usage has jumped 71%, with broadcast down 21% and cable down 39%. I just recorded an episode of Late Night Lately, wherein I covered the notion that late night will not be what it is today in 10 years. Even 10 years ago, it's not what it is today. We're seeing a slow decline, a slow death of that genre of television. And after a certain amount, after a couple of years, we're going to see, CBS canceled After Midnight because Taylor Tomlinson wanted to go out and do road comedy, as she's won to do, and that's fine. But they use the opportunity for a lot of reasons, mostly to get purchased by Skydance. But they use the opportunity to cancel the show and save the $17 that show costs. And now all those people are out of a job, unfortunately. But they now they have no 12:15 show, and all they have is Colbert, and Kimmel has often, wavered on staying with his show on ABC, and Tonight Show lost a Friday episode, and it's just everything is just going away, and it's all going to be pointing to streaming, and it's all going to be cheaper, which is not good. You should go see a Minecraft movie in theaters. You should not just say, I'm going to wait till it comes to streaming. You should just be like, hey, Elio is coming to theaters. I'm going to go see Elio, which is, it's so important. Whether it's IP or not. I used to be against the IP train, but now go to the theaters. Go to theaters and see something. Go to see, and even beyond that, go to a concert. Go see Kendrick Lamar and Taylor Swift and Beyonce and Turnstile and Pulp and Yaya Bay. Go see people in concert. That's how people make money. Trust me. If you're just sitting at home streaming everything, yes, it's easier for you, and sure, you might be enjoying it. But at some point, these people have to make money, because if Disney does not see money from Elio, then they're not going to be making any more Pixar movies. And in 20 years, if Pixar sees a strong decline, they're not going to be making Pixar movies. We've seen these companies get rid of things. Warner, for instance. I'm not saying Warner's doing it right. I'm just saying this happened. Nielsen notes that free streaming services have contributed significantly to uptick. YouTube jumped over 120%. YouTube jumped 120% over the 4 years and regularly charts as the most streaming platform. In May, YouTube was the source of 12.5% of all TV viewership by Nielsen, the highest share achieved by any streamer to date. Even smaller platforms are having a footprint. Pluto TV, Roku channel, and Tubi, which are all free, made up 5.7% of viewing in May, outpacing any individual broadcaster. And what's great about channels, streaming platforms like that is that, sorry, I just hit the mic, is that they all have kind of gets when it comes to why people watch them. Pluto's got, I don't know, I think like 100 or so some odd channels, but they're all fascinating, especially if you are somebody who wants to have a niche channel pointing in a direction. I love Cheers and Frasier, so I'm going to watch the Cheers and Frasier channel. There's a Pokemon channel. There's a Yu-Gi-Oh channel. There's some news channels. There's some sports channels. There's weather. I think it's the right channel. I don't know if that's true. There's music channels, Nickelodeon channels, kids cartoons, TV Land. There's just things that you can just sit there and watch and put on. And yes, the ads are so obtrusive and they run all the time, but at least I'm getting my show or movie for free. On top of that, they also have on-demand stuff. Then you go over there to Tubi. Tubi's, they have some originals. They also have some live streaming. And then they also have shows like The Critic and Transformers, the original cartoon, and movies and stuff that you recognize that you can pick out and choose and watch yourself. And then there's Roku channel. I have a Roku stick. I might as well. I don't have a Roku stick. I have a Chromecast or Google TV, please. It's much slower than a Roku stick. And every time my TV turns on, it flickers on the screen. And it's because of that stick. It doesn't do that with anything else. I have a Roku. I already get all of my subscriptions through there. Why don't I go to the Roku channel and watch the Great American Bake Off? Is that what it's called? Because it's the Great British Bake Off. Yeah, the Great American Bake Off, which they now have. The first season of Chad, Nassim Petraud's Chad, which was canceled from TBS after the second season was made, and they never had a chance to air it. And then Roku got the second season, but now it's gone. I'm pissed. They have all the Quibi stuff. So people are attracted to that because, after living for so long with cable and then being able to go to streaming and not paying that much, you're paying significantly less than cable. And then the cable bubble burst. The streaming bubble burst. So then you go, all right, well, I'll go down to ad supported Disney Plus and ad supported Netflix, and then I'll just get everything else free via these streaming apps, via YouTube and via Pluto TV and Roku and Tubi. I can deal with ads over, having to pay an extra $20 a month. We're seeing a lot of shows right now. This is what the report points out, according to the Variety article. We're seeing a lot of shows go on hiatuses. We're seeing a lot of shows get less episodes. I mentioned The Simpsons and Family Guy and American Dad and Bob's Burgers. They're getting 18 episodes, if that. 15, I believe, in particular for The Simpsons. 15 to be aired on Fox, and then 3 episodes to be aired on Disney Plus. So they're getting less episodes in total. They're all getting less episodes regardless. And so they're only going to be airing, 3/4 of a season. So what are people to do but say, hey, I think I'm just, if I'm not going to be able to have, every episode of Grey's Anatomy, if I'm going to get 22 episodes of Grey's Anatomy once the season's over, or Abbott Elementary, once the season's over, I'm just going to subscribe to Hulu because I can watch Abbott Elementary, and I can watch Always Sunny, and I can watch Archer, and I can watch Kitchen Nightmares. It's a change, and it's not. Unfortunately, it's not going to be for the better. It's going to be anti-consumer in the end. Okay, and then this final one comes from Jake Cantor. Also, I wanted to mention this. I'm wearing the U2 shirt, the U2 concert shirt that I got when I was in San Jose. It is so thick. It's 88 degrees outside, and it is so hot, and my air just kicked on for the first time in an hour. But it is so thick because I just changed shirts. It's so thick. B, it is a fake shirt. I got, I think, a mile from the venue. Not a mile. I was several blocks from the venue walking with everybody else, and people were selling these fake U2 shirts. And one guy was like $20. And I was like, I'm gonna pay that. And the guy was like 15. And I was like, I'm gonna pay it. And the guy went 10. And I went, okay, if I walk by somebody with a $5 shirt, I will buy it. And then literally within that second, some guy goes 5, and I go, I'll do it. I'll take it. And I bought this shirt. And then I brought back a cup from the venue that I found on the ground, but I washed it very thoroughly. Also, anyway, hold on. I'm gonna finish that little anecdote. This morning I was at Trader Joe's and I was buying my groceries, and I was in the vegetable aisle, and I saw a father and son hanging over the tomatoes, hanging over them like the way I assume Rudy Giuliani hangs over his victims. And like a vampire, just a decrepit vampire. I saw them both hanging over the tomatoes, and I'm picking up potatoes, and they're at the tomatoes. I'm at the potatoes. So we're two inches away from each other, and I just hear, and that sound when someone doesn't cover their fucking hands over their mouths, or the crook of their arm over their mouth, and I looked up. And I just saw the father and the son both like, oh, which tomato we get? Just coughing on. It was disgusting. My goodness. And I wasn't getting a tomato, but I thought to myself, yeah, I guess I'm not getting tomatoes. And I said out loud, I guess I'm not getting any tomatoes. And I walked off. That's going to get me killed. Second, also they wouldn't be able to kill me. Second, there is a, here in Atlanta, we have a you can have your city recycling, but there's also a nonprofit organization that handles recycling called CHARM, the Center for Hard to Recycle Materials. I love it. They have 2 locations, one in Grant Park and one by the zoo, and another one in Decatur. And I go to the Grant Park location. Maverick comes with me, and it's just a great bonding thing we do. We've been doing since well before Nova died, but now I use it as an excuse for him to get in the car sometimes. And we were driving there yesterday, and I've been doing this particular thing, going to Charm for 4 years or so. I've been going for a long time, and I come up to a stop sign, to a 3-way stop, and I'm coming up to a stop sign, and it's in a neighborhood area, and the park is like maybe a couple of minutes in a different direction. So it's in a neighborhood area, and there's tons of houses, and then there's like one busy street that's maybe like a minute or two away that'll take you to the park, to Grant Park and to the zoo. And I'm coming to the stop sign in this neighborhood, and Charm's right there, and I'm slowing at the stop sign when like 4 or 5 guys on e-bikes, not regular bikes, on e-bikes, I more or less run a stop sign. I have the video. I have the video on my dash cam, and so another car comes to the stop sign. I'm coming to the stop sign, and we're both stopping at the same time. And then these guys just kind of no helmet, roll through the stop sign, and two guys are turning so tightly that they're coming down my lane. So, and I have the windows down because Maverick's in there and he likes the windows down. And I put my hands up, and I go, "This is how people get hurt, guys." And then all of them respond, "You was coming to the stop sign. You didn't stop it." I'm like, guys, look, I could have hit you, and I drove off. Again, if they followed me on their little e-bikes, they could have killed me, because I was going truly 1 second away. Anyway, there's that. So anyway, I wore this shirt because at the end of the Haim album, which is called "I Quit," they have a song called "Now It's Time," and it samples the Zooropa song "Numb." And I love U2. I love Haim. That's why I'm wearing this shirt. Finally, last story. This comes from Deadline, written by Jake Cantor. Netflix strikes new kind of partnership to carry TF1 stations in France. Soon, next summer 2026, French viewers will be able to see TF1 on a new platform, Netflix. This is huge. TF1 is what Cantor refers to as the equivalent of NBC in France. So imagine a broadcast network, your NBCs, your Fox Broadcasting, your ABC, your CBS, being available on the biggest streaming platform around, besides YouTube, the biggest streaming platform, the most successful streaming platform. Imagine that happening. And that's essentially what's happening next year for Netflix. It's further evidence of Netflix's growing power over traditional networks, as well as a maker of the ambition it has for its ad business. If successful, it could prove to be a test case for similar deals as Netflix aims to cement its position as the world's TV channel. That's exactly my point in picking up the story, because I truly see them testing this in the same way that they tested their live streaming capabilities with a couple of sports things like the Jake Paul, not Evander Holyfield, Mike Tyson fight, and the and stand-up comedy specials like Joe Rogan's and Chris Rock's. They are signaling to the world that they are going to take the next big step. Right now, they've been doing the John Mulaney show, Everybody's Live. That was live, and there were no hitches in that. They've been doing Monday Night Raw for this past season, and there have been very little hitches in that. So this next test case, starting next year, is going to be the equivalent of those tenfold, 100-fold. People are going to be able to go to the Netflix page and sit down and watch K-pop Demon Hunters, which is a movie I will be watching tonight. They're going to be able to watch K-pop Demon Hunters. They're going to be able to watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine. And then they're going to say, "Oh, my favorite show on TF1 is coming on." Qu'est-ce que c'est? Je ne sais pas. Let me watch this. Let me watch it on the Netflix. And they're all going to be doing that without leaving the app. I mentioned Spotify and its want to become a super app of sorts. This is exactly kind of what Netflix is doing. They have games, they have movies, they have shows, they have, you could put a fire log up for Christmas for an hour. This is a huge deal, and the fact that it's happening in France, as opposed to them just testing it out with, let's say they picked up, I don't know, they went to Germany and they picked up a small network, the equivalent of like their Fuse TV. Fuse TV has been getting a lot of jabs from me in my personal life. Sometimes I'll just make fun of Fuse TV. But imagine just a very small network. But now TF1 is huge. TF1 is gigantic. So this is they're definitely showing their hand, and it's very impressive what they're doing, because we are seeing these streaming companies focus on these live channels, more or less, because for a very long time, you could just go to Netflix, you could go to Hulu, and you just watch whatever show or movie you want, and you had to be attentive with it, versus they want you to be attentive no matter what. But versus when CBS All Access, now Paramount Plus, came out, they introduced the aspect of live streaming your local CBS affiliate, as well as these other channels. And now that's been adopted by almost every platform. Apple TV, you can watch soccer and baseball. Hulu obviously has Hulu 5 TV, YouTube TV. Netflix has sports and comedy shows. Prime Video has a bunch of live channels, like so many. It's annoying. Peacock has live streaming channel, and when I say live, I don't mean they're all necessarily live, but I do mean continuously running. And Disney Plus now has them with the kids and the Simpsons and news and all that stuff. But people sometimes, it's just easier to stay on one thing on Disney Plus and say, I'm going to turn on the channel with all the kids stuff so I can watch, so my kid can watch Bluey and Spider-Man and his amazing friends and this and that. Netflix is they are going to cement themselves as the place to watch everything eventually. And again, I mentioned this in the lately. In 10 years, late night shows are going to look different. In 10 years, cable is going to be on its last legs. Even network TV is going to be on its last legs, but streaming is going to be this. I will say it won't be a perfect thing, but it will be the majority. It will be something that, we'll just say, I guess, like in the same way that people, like, when my great aunt, before she passed away, she and my great grandmother, we had cable, and they had bunny ear TVs. They were elderly people. My great grandmother lived to be 111, but they were elderly people. They didn't need cable. They just, you just go downstairs and you turn it to 3.2 and you could get some cartoons sometimes. So, like, in the same way that, for the better, we were forced out of antenna TV into a better digital age of getting TVs with digital antennas, and now you can get it with obviously you can get it with streaming as well. The streaming is going to be this new thing. Jesus Christ. Streaming is going to be this thing that is going to be synonymous with watching TV. In the same way that people go, I just Netflixed all day. I would never say I YouTubed all day. I YouTubed TV'd all day. That's what I did last week watching golf. Speaking of which, Multiview on YouTube TV it's a great tool. Unfortunately, it has been rolled out incredibly slowly. Over the past, I think, year, they introduced Multiview as a way to watch multiple things at once. It's in the name. When it first started out, you could watch only sports, and they only did it with like big sports stuff. So you could watch like the biggest basketball game with another big basketball game or whatever, and then they expanded it to recently to like news. So you could watch all 4 news cable channels, MSNBC, CNBC, MSNBC, CNN, Fox, and what was the 4th one? I don't know. But you can watch all 4 of those. And then they started doing this A/B testing, I guess. But in the past couple of weeks, they started doing this local multi-view that has all of your local networks. So your CBS, your Fox Broadcasting, your ABC, and your NBC. And then the cable stuff, and then the sports stuff. And just last week, for my use case, finally, I was introduced to multi-view where you can't build it yourself, but they have a multitude of ones that they can build for you. So in my use case, on Tuesday morning and Thursday morning when I was cycling after working out, I was able to watch the 4 networks that I typically watch in the morning, which are CNN, ABC for Good Morning America, NBC for Today's Show, and CBS for CBS Mornings. And I have that specific multi-view, and you can, but anyway, at some point, YouTube TV, I would love for them, and they blame this on the technology on the servers, that they're not able to have. I would love for them to have multi-views where I can just build it, where I can watch, a rerun of The Simpsons along with a basketball game, or I can watch SVU and I can watch a news channel. That'd be so sad. SVU and the news. They're both the same thing. All right, I'm done. Thanks for listening. I hope you checked out the recent interview I did with Julie Seabaugh over there on youtube.com/C+comedy. It was an excellent chat. We talked about her new documentary called Are We Good? I believe it was called. About Marc Maron. It was at the Tribeca Film Festival. Next week we'll have an interview. I'm just going to tell you right now, it was supposed to come out this week. And then I sat down and I thought, I don't have any other interviews, so I need to space these out. So they'll be out next week. If you want to see a video version of this show, go to youtube.com/C+comedy, where you can see a video version of the show, a video version of the interviews, as well as a video version of the other podcasts. LinkedIn Logs, which is the Jobs podcast, and Late Night Lately, the Late Night Show. Check them out. They're great. Subscribe to those shows wherever you get your podcasts. There was no new episode of LinkedIn Logs this week, mostly because I want to do one next week, and I don't think I could have done one next week if I did one this week. Follow us on Blue Sky, Instagram, TikTok, at C+Comedy, me at Chad Black White. Thank you so much for listening. See you next time. Bye.